Valley Church. It's a beautiful Tuesday. We are enjoying the sunny weather. I'm hoping you're able to get out and in it. It's refreshing to see God's creation coming back to life again after a winter time. At our place, we have a new bird show up. We have a robin, and he's been very vocal, and he's been looking for a friend. And so we get to hear him a lot. At night, we get to hear the frogs in the valley as they are also voicing their opinion. There's a lot of really cool things that creation is doing right now, and I personally am really enjoying it. And so because of that, I want to turn to Genesis chapter 2. This is part of the creation account. After all this stuff had been made, God decided to put Adam in a place and give him a job. He put him in the Garden of Eden. And Genesis chapter 2, verses 8 and 9 give a very quick description of some of the things that we could find in the Garden of Eden. And what I want to note is God's creation is functional. It does function. Things reproduce after their own kind, stuff like that. But there's a statement here that is informative to how we should view the creation. And because we're created in God's image, it should teach us about our own work in this creation. So Genesis chapter 2, starting in verse 8. And the Lord God planted a garden in Eden in the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground the Lord God made to spring up every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life was in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, obviously, one of the main characters in this verse is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That's going to play a huge role here in the next verses and chapters, and really even the rest of the Bible. But don't let this slip by that God created trees and plants that were pleasing to look at. They were pleasing to the sight. God's work is beautiful. We also are created in God's image, and therefore our work has the potential to be beautiful. It has the potential to be pleasing to the eye. Now, we also know that some of these trees were good for food, which means that they not only appealed to the sense of sight, but also the sense of taste and potentially even smell. These things were pleasing to Adam. God had made things, God's work had made things that were pleasing. And even now, as we see things come back to life in the springtime, and we hear the frogs at night and the robin during the morning, we know that God's creation is still pleasing to our senses. And that's part of the experience of being a human, being created in God's image. We also see later on in Exodus chapter 31, when God had a design for the tabernacle, he actually gifted a couple of men to be able to build the things that he had designed. And those things had function. They were going to function as the place where man would worship God. But they were also pleasing to the eye. Beautiful shapes, a beautiful architecture, a beautiful building materials. They were pleasing to the eye. As we think about our life, we very easily fall into the functionality of our work. But today, look at the things that you just kind of do every day. Sometimes you get into just a flow of things just happen this way. Start to see those things as opportunities for your creativity to flourish. See if today you can do something that maybe you do every day, only this time you can add some color, or you can add some shape or some texture, that it might be more pleasing to the eye, pleasing to the smell, or pleasing to the taste. If you're baking, come up with a fun idea, something new. If you're building something, make sure it's done well. Make it a beautiful thing under your hand. If you're a kid and you're doing your homework today, you could actually practice writing with good penmanship. If you are producing things, if you're organizing information, if no matter what you're doing, it can be pleasing to your senses and to the senses of people around you. For us to do this is to participate, actively participate, in being created in God's image and in God's likeness. This has a potential for beauty today, and I hope that you enjoy it. May God be with us as we do this. Have a good day, Peaceful Valley Church. Goodbye.